left. As usual, I'm going to wait for some of my co-hosts to join me up here on stage before we get it going here. Plan C, what's going on?
Hey guys, hanging in there, doing okay. How about you guys? How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. It's another day in paradise.
Paradise?
Yeah.
I felt like the market's going through hell right now, and you're in paradise? Where are you at?
I thought we were in purgatory. Isn't this purgatory?
Hey, man, I was raised in a trailer.
Who do we have to pay to leave purgatory?
I feel like we're the whole market's in one of those like tubes where they hook all the wires up and you're like healing underwater. I think that's what I thought where the whole market's at.
What are you talking about, like Wolverine?
Yeah. You know how they have you suspended in the tube while you heal? Like that's where we're at.
Interesting, Zach. We're in the old tube where you heal.
Yep.
Scott, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm all for those Marvel.
Hello,
movies.
Celsians. Coming
Cryo
to you.
chambers. Yep. Where
Yeah, there you go.
Rapid healing mutant power can take over. So yes, I'm a geek.
Got it. Yeah, just again to the group, feel free to share the room out. Let everyone know we're live. If you want to join us up on stage, just tap on the mic in the bottom left. I made the topic for tonight. I don't know if you guys watched Simon Dixon or not, but he had a couple emergency videos. There is a Bretton Woods style of event happening in El Salvador, I think, and supposedly 44 nations are having a kind of gathering to discuss something around Bitcoin. I'm going to wait to see more updates tomorrow from Simon Dixon. But yeah, if you guys want to chat about that, we can do that. Also, we can just talk about the market broadly real quickly. Plan C. I see that there's a triangle formation happening, and I'm not sure if it can break up or down or what you're seeing. I don't know if you can touch on that.
Yeah, I'm not a TA guy, but I have heard people speak about that. So yeah, I'm definitely not an expert on this at all. But yeah, there are some people, saying that, with the setup we have right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to really speak to things I don't know enough about. So yeah, I'll leave it to the TA guys on that one.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know what to think of that stuff, right? Because it's and typically when you watch those triangles, there is some kind of a breakout. But with how the market's doing now, I don't know how there could be a breakout up to the upside. I don't think I've ever witnessed price action drive straight through one of those triangles.
Well, I mean, look at the amount of forced selling that took place in such a condensed amount of time. I mean, when you had 80,000 Bitcoin from one party, plus the hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin from all the others that were trading hands in such a short period of time, and the volume got crazy high and really looked like quote unquote capitulation volume. I think it was encouraging in the fact that may be the bottom, that 25.5 or 25.4. And then us coming decisively above that in the following days after. I think kind of like how March 2020 happened, where you have this unbelievably quick de-leveraging and forced selling and market clearing down to prices. That's very painful in the short term, but it gives us immense strength because we clear that market and there's no, the tide goes out very, very quickly. I guess you could put it like that. And then everyone that's not wearing shorts is out, and then all the hodlers remain. So to see the market clear that quickly, come back, and now even today when there was a bad statement or a negative statement towards the markets from Powell, kind of threatening higher rates, there was an immediate drop of like $500-600, and then immediately came back up. I think that's a sign of strength and a sign that the weaker hands have been cleared out in this incredibly aggressive downturn.
I hope so. I was down there DCAing my $100 at a clip. I might have been propping the market up. I don't know.
You bought the bottom, Josh? You bought the bottom.
Yeah.
You caught the
knife. Oh, yeah, I was nibbling away, trying to help the ecosystem.
I agree with you, Zach. There, just looking back at what's happened over time. When Bitcoin ran up to 20,000, then it drops, and then it goes down to 5,000, then it goes back up, and the lower lows, the floors, if you will, they're getting higher and higher and higher over a long period of time, and that's the thing I think people need to take a step back and look at over time. Look at the past 10 years and look at all of these floors that have happened over and over and over again. And each event feels like it's the end, right? Each event, there's a big changing of hands. It goes from the weak hands to the strong hands. As Alex says, the spectators, the tourists, right? Who are gambling or they say they're investing, but they're really trading. And I just see it for what it is. And I'm looking at the big picture. I'm looking at the last 10 years. And what I see is the lows are getting higher and higher each time. So I think it's encouraging for the market overall, for the fact that in spite of what happened, we only dropped down to what, 25 to 30, somewhere in that range. I think that's very encouraging for the long term.
And to see that Bretton Woods action, or that Bretton Woods type meeting, we'll see what that's called, but at the end of the day, but I think it's a lot of small nations, but even these small nations have the ability to get off the fiat system, and if they're even entertaining this idea of moving to digital money or decentralized pure form of money, I think that bodes very, very well for the future of the space. And again, all this short-term price action is very devastating to a lot of people. The loans, if you were leveraged too much, it could really get you liquidated and cause a lot of problems. So I feel with everyone on that, or anyone that was holding Luna or UST, took dramatic, killed, got really hurt by that. And that's extremely painful, and that's a lesson that all of us have to move on and understand, and kind of, when something sounds almost too good to be true, there's a tendency for it to be. And all of this technology is experimental, and all of it has risks. So everything you do in life has risk, and you just have to be sure to calculate and manage that risk as best as possible, and never put all your eggs in one basket, because if that basket gets turned under, then it can be very ugly.
I agree with you, Zach. And another comment I wanted to make is Josh put Bretton Woods up there. If it doesn't take much for Bitcoin to all of a sudden reverse. So if there are lots of small countries discussing it, who knows what can happen? I'll just leave it there. So I know in the past, a lot of the big run-ups, no one expected them, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin runs. So you never know. So that's why I just look at the long-term view, try not to get wrapped up in the day-to-day or week-to-week, but focus more on long-term, and that's my outlook.
Yep, I agree with you both. Plan C, did you have something you want to touch on? And then I want to get to Brian, who's in the room here, to talk about the card.
Okay, yeah, maybe go to Brian first. He can do the card. But I just wanted to, at some point tonight, obviously talk about Cell Token and just kind of reflect on where we're at. But yeah, go to him first. Might be better.
Sure, we'll circle back. Brian, I saw that you're going Burr on your profile there. Oh, man. He's been having difficulty connecting, I see, coming back up and down the stage. But if you guys haven't seen, Brian put up a whole bunch of the Celsius cards coming off the printing press on his profile. So make sure you guys are going checking that out. In the meantime, while he's trying to reconnect, maybe get to a better space, Brian, if you can hear me, just restart the app and come back up on stage. But yeah, we can roll over. Plan. What's going on?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's important, obviously, to address what happened with Celsius and just reflect on kind of like what led to it and where we're at with everything. I mean, it was, in my opinion, it wasn't really addressed enough on the AMA on Friday. So yeah, I just want to give like kind of an overview for the community, because again, I think it's important for people to understand like how this happened and just like all the variables and all the factors that led into it. So I'm just going to go through a few things here. So And these are all facts. Like if anyone wants to dispute any of these, I'd love to hear your side of the argument. But in my opinion, these are essentially all facts. So Cell Token funded the project, right? So the people invested in Cell Token were actually the people that funded Celsius, the company, and actually funded, Alex's and Daniel's dream of starting Celsius. So that's a really important thing to note. The other thing is Cell has extremely low liquidity, and this is something that the company was very aware of. So, Celsius and the community, obviously, the community has responsibility, should have known the token was had extremely low liquidity, right? Some of the lowest liquidity actually in all of crypto, for the fact that they were a top 100 coin. So the company knew this, right? But they did allow people to take loans against Cell, even though they knew it had extremely low liquidity. Loans were encouraged every Friday on the AMA, so Alex encouraged loans. I mean, he didn't specifically encourage Cell loans, but he did encourage loans across the board, and anyone holding Cell Token would not be able to distinguish that information from another coin, especially if they don't understand how liquidity works. The community had a false sense of security when it came to the Cell Token. This was caused by last summer, Celsius, the company, putting up $20 million to support the token at $5. They put up a sell wall, which stopped the token from dropping. It was the best performing token in all of crypto initially when we had that drop last year. And also Celsius, the company, put up Bywalls this time on FTX and different exchanges, giving a false sense of security that the company would support the token. Alex and the team admitted that they neglected the token in 2021. They basically flat out said it was neglected and the company was prioritized. They hyped mega deals. Alex hyped mega deals. All sorts of partnerships fell through. Deadlines were missed. Targets were missed. Alex and the company did not support. So when the token started dropping, because of the market overall market dropping, this stuff going on with Luna, regardless, the token obviously started tanking. The Alex and the team did not step in whatsoever to support the price on the way down. They essentially just let it drop. The community did not have enough time to react. There were many people that were not, in my opinion, taking unnecessary risk or being irresponsible with the risk. There were some that absolutely were, and they have a level of responsibility 100%. But there were lots of people in the community, some of the biggest supporters of Celsius, that in my opinion just didn't have time. Blockchains, the exchanges were down. All sorts of problems can happen when things drop this fast, and many weren't able to react. Now you could say, okay, they should have had all this stuff in the app. I get it. There is a level of responsibility for people that obviously got liquidated, but I do feel like this was a pretty fast drop. And like I said, it was caused by low liquidity, all these things I mentioned prior. But yeah, the Celsius and the team and Alex decided not to step in to protect the community. Drop happened extremely quickly, which obviously led to a lot of liquidations. Now the Cell token is massively disconnected with the company and has massively underperformed the equity. So for the people that bought into the first round of equity, if you compare the tokens at versus the equity now, there's a huge disconnect. There's not even a close proximity of their value. Many people lost everything in this event. There's tons of people that were the biggest supporters of Celsius, the fund of the project, and obviously they lost a huge amount. The net negative effect of this event has had ripples throughout crypto. So not only is there a lot of FUD around Celsius, the company, but because the token has dropped so much, you had a lot of really big influencers online that got burnt by Cell or are just taking opportunities to take shots at Celsius because of this. And the reputational hit to the company, as well as the net negative effect of the advertising and just the online effect of this is huge. And the Cell token has to completely rebuild its reputation, and I think Celsius is taking a huge hit. So that's a summary, in my opinion, of where we're at. If anyone disagrees with any of those facts, I would love to hear them. I think the company, if they were able to step in, which as far as I understand it, I don't know all the details, but if they were able to step in and they decided not to, I think this is an absolutely huge mistake. And I think if they would have put up a $10 million Bywall at $2 sell, once the token would not drop past $2 for a period of time, say a day, then people would just stop selling, and none of this would have happened, and you wouldn't have this reputational damage and the community affected so negatively. So yeah, that's kind of my summary. If anyone wants to dispute anything or discuss anything, I'd love to hear it.
You said last year Celsius put up $20 million at $5 to have a buy wall. Do you know that for a fact? That the $20 million.
I don't work for the company, so I don't know that for a fact, right? But I mean, Yeah, I am pretty aware that is true. Again, if it's not true, I'd love to hear it, but I did hear that through different sources, and I'm pretty certain on that. I forgot to mention, Alex did message me, DM me, as well as other people that were influential in the Cell community and crypto, to say promote the fact that Cell's holding up so well. So he wouldn't have done that.
No, I was just asking. I don't know the answer. I was just asking.
Yeah, basically last summer, I mean, they did put up a Bywall. That's the only way the token would have held there. I don't know exactly how much they put up. I heard 20 million. Yeah. Again, the point is they put a significant effort into defending $5. Now this time the price was at $2, and you know, 2.5. You get 2.5 times the support for the same amount of money. So again, it was a miscalculation, in my opinion, from the company, because the net effects of this, you know, the damage, you know, 20 million or 10 million, whatever it would have been to support the price. And anyways, that's it. So.
All right. Last year, well, now that the dust has settled and I've been doing some thinking, it may have been, if they intervene at that point, it may have been regulatory challenges. Compliance might have said, you know, this is a free market. You can't, the company can't just interfere. All they can do is their weekly buyback. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
but there has to be a reason why the company didn't intervene. I don't know the answer.
Wait a second, Otis, though. I don't so they did, again, they've done this in the past. So unless this is new regulation.
Listen to what I'm saying.
No, I am listening. I heard what you said.
Regulatory pressure wasn't like this.
Okay, I totally understand. But if they were able to, right, all you had to do was say, whatever amount of weeks, say 6 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever the number, right? These kind of events happen literally once a year, right? So you do your weekly buybacks every week, you do your weekly buys for the burn, but these kind of events happen literally once a year. Happened last May, happened during COVID. So 3 times in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. You know, for the company to say, look, during these crazy events, we don't want everyone to get liquidated. So what we need to do is just do a 4 weeks of buying, 6 weeks of buying, 8 weeks of buying, buy your tokens ahead of time. You know, and basically just stock up on your tokens. And
what I don't know the answer to this, but now that the dust has settled, and I've been thinking, if I were in Celsius, inside of Celsius, that is what I would do. There must be a reason why, if they're not doing it, there must be some kind of regulatory issue. I don't know if that's the case, but there must be some reason.
For me, like Otis, for me, this is almost a bigger regulation issue. Like, as a regulator, I would come in here and say, what just happened? Your token just tanked 95%. You just liquidated a whole bunch of people that took loans against your token. Like, I would have concerns as a regulator, given what happened here, right? And the last thing I'll say, and I'll let other people speak, is, you know, besides the company, Alex could have stepped in. I mean, he could have stepped in. He has to feel level of responsibility, given the fact that he neglected the token in 2021. He admitted that. You know, all these things I went through already. Alex is somebody who's promoted loans. You know, yes, people, you know, took unnecessary risk, but a lot of people didn't, in my opinion. You know, and so, yeah, but my point being with Alex, I mean, he's talking about buying Bitcoin and buying Ethereum, but, you know, at $2 sell or $1 sell, how much could he impact supporting the community and the price? So, you know, people argue with me on that, but that's just a fact. If I was Alex, I would have 100% put a Bywall at $2 to protect the community, 100%, and that would have benefited his company as well.
It might not have stood up. You know,
it would have. If you put a significant, no, it would have. Otis, it would have, because if you put this was proven. The last thing I'll say.
Here, right, stepping in here, like that stuff, the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Again, I understand the emotions and the feelings, and
we don't know what. No one knew where the bottom was. Now,
Otis, we saw last year in May that $20 million stopped the bleeding. It stopped the price from dropping. This drop was very similar to last year. At $2, you could put up, you know, 20 million, and I guarantee you, people will stop selling. If the price stops dropping, it'll stop selling.
Let's ask Alex and see
if
we can get any more clarity. Yeah, I don't have any more information here. I understand Plan C's point, and I do hear him out, and I think he brings up a lot of valid points. But that's going to be stuff we have to ask Alex.
Very last thing: is there anything I said that anyone disagrees with or has counterpoints to? Because I went through a lot of things there, and I just want to know if anyone, you know, on stage has anything they would say that goes against those things I said.
That's the only thing.
Is your biggest complaint that Is your biggest complaint that Celsius allowed loans against Cell Token?
Did you not listen to about 15 points I just went through?
Yeah.
Did you
What
not?
was the biggest? What was the biggest?
It doesn't matter about the biggest. It's a cumulative of about 15 things that were done poorly. Is there like, it's a combination of everything, right? I'm not going to go through everything again.
Allowing loans against Cell Token, I would disagree that that's a negative. I mean,
that's not really what I said. That's actually not what I said. I said the company knew there was low liquidity, and they still allowed people to borrow against an extremely volatile, low liquidity token.
Well,
that's what I said.
A lot of tokens are highly volatile. I mean, Luna went from 100 to 0.
Luna is that's a totally different situation.
Bitcoin, can I talk?
That is a totally no. You can't because you're saying things that are not true. That is a totally different. Listen. I need to answer his question. He asked the question. I need to answer it. He's comparing Bitcoin to Cell Token. He has no clue what he's talking about. Do you understand what liquidity is?
Let's be respectful.
No, I need to. I am being respectful. I am.
Don't say no. He has no clue what he's talking about.
But he doesn't. It's a fact.
How do you know what I'm saying?
But you just compared Bitcoin to Cell Token for liquidity. You just said Luna for liquidity.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Guys, just so.
Okay, say it.
Can we calm it down just a little bit?
Yeah, we're on the same.
It's like the snake eating its own tail up here.
Yeah.
Okay. But can I just say, like, you just said Luna dropped. That was a completely different thing than Cell Token, right? Unrelated completely. Luna had crazy high liquidity. Cell Token does not have liquidity. It had no liquidity. Bitcoin has extremely high liquidity. So a token can be volatile, but you have to understand that Cell has extremely low liquidity. So when allowing people to borrow against that, the price can drop extremely fast. Luna dropped for a completely separate reason. Bitcoin is volatile for a completely separate reason, but they both have very high liquidity. That's the last thing I'll say.
But they're all
in hindsight, would you recommend that the company didn't allow loans against Cell, period, from day one?
Oh, it was a huge mistake to do so, and also to promote loans. Like when you have a token that's so highly non-liquid, so yeah, that was 100% a huge blunder by the community or by the company to allow people to borrow against Cell.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I mean, low liquidity just means high volatility, and all these tokens, including Bitcoin and every other token, have very high volatility.
Again, you're really misinformed. You're really misinformed.
Yeah.
Bitcoin volatility and liquidity are two separate things. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Let's
move on.
Yeah,
let's move.
Let's scooch. We're able to vent up here, but it needs to be under some kind of control here. So, Alan, do you have a question? You want to go next?
Hey, what's up? I don't think it's Celsius's responsibility to set up a buy wall at a certain price. It's the same thing as saying, well, IOHK, they need to set up a buy wall for ADA, so it doesn't drop below a price, or Elon should set up a buy wall to buy a bunch of Doge, so so it doesn't go below a certain price. I don't think it's their responsibility to do that. Now, I do know what you're talking about them having a buy wall at $5, and that was because they had themselves, like the company themselves, was borrowing or was using Cell Token and borrowed some money off of it. But I mean that's they had the money to do that, and that's just my thoughts on it. I don't think it's Celsius' responsibility to do that.
Do you think they're responsible for any of the points I mentioned, though? Do they have a level of responsibility because Cell Token funded the project, because they, admitted that they neglected the token, all these things I went through already? Do you think there's a level of responsibility given the specific situation of Cell Token?
No, I don't think that they neglected it. I mean,
they admitted they neglected the token in 2021. That's a fact. The team and Alex.
Move on. My God.
Well,
you're wasting everybody's time.
I'm not wasting anyone's time. Do you understand how many people? Do you understand how many people got burnt on this? I got dozens of DMs of people that lost everything. So
that's because they were leveraged.
Okay. Being leveraged is not okay. When someone has a 7% or a 10% LTV, that's not being leveraged. That's the smallest possible leverage you could imagine. the token went down 95%, right? So being leveraged, okay, leverage of like 10% LTV, that's a very, very small leverage. That's not doing a 5x, on some exchange going long. That's a very different thing. There's different types of leverage. Don't lump everyone in. When someone takes very low leverage, gets 2 margin calls, and then liquidated, that's not being irresponsible.
Well, aside from the back and forth here, can we move on? I think what's going on here is there was a black swan event. The company was doing the buybacks as they usually do. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of different parties holding sell token, and a lot of people are de-risking at the same time. So, the company can only do what the company can do in these type of situations. But I understand the concern, and it's okay to vent up here, but we need to make time for other people on stage as well. So, Jacob, I did notice you had your hand up. Or Zach, did you want to make a comment as well?
No, go ahead.
Jacob, what's going on?
7 years ago, I bought like 5 Bitcoin, and now that's all.
Awesome. Glad you came up. Norm, what's going on?
Oh, hi, gentlemen. Just listening to the comments, and I think most of you know that I'm not a fan of promoting sell token as anything other than the minor utilities that it might give. I wasn't a fan of the burn, still am not. I think my opinion, and I don't know, is that I believe we got off base when we started trying to promote the sell token and give utility to it, trying to make something out of nothing, basically, in my opinion. And I think that Alex was pushed by a lot of people that felt that the sell token should represent, some equivalent value to what Celsius was doing, which was great. And I hold a lot of sell token. People said, "Oh, you don't hold sell token." I have a lot of sell token, more than 40K. Okay, that's how much I got. More than that.
Hey Norm, do you understand that sell token was in the white paper and was actually like part of funding the project and was integrated into the white paper?
Yes,
it was in the white paper.
I'm familiar with the fact that the sell token was used to initially do the IPO funding.
And it was also in the white paper, right? With token economics and flywheel.
It is not an equity,
it's part of the project. It's part of the project, though.
The reason I joined Celsius is because of earn on my sell token, earn on my crypto. Mainly the highest earn I could get, which was stablecoin. And because people have pushed for sell, because they want interest on sell, they want extras for sell and all this. There's some of them I'm not arguing with, but the interest on sell, where sell is paying interest. Alex always said he's only going to put a token in that can earn itself, and sell never earned itself, and it still doesn't. It cannibalizes the earn from the other tokens. Now, there's another platform. I won't name it, but there are other platforms that are similar platforms. They do earning on your crypto, and their rates are higher now because, in my opinion, the rates at Celsius got cannibalized by.
That's not true, though. That's not true. That's not true, Norm. The reason why the rates have come down. No, Norm, that's not true.
Okay, hold on. First of all, I don't know that it's not true, and I don't think you know that it's not true. I can say this. The Celsius is burning sell. They're taking 10% above what was earned and burning it. Now, that 10% could go to the other coin, should go to the other coin earn rates. That's the purpose of Celsius,
but
is for
Norm,
earning and for loaning. It's
Norm,
not for some sell token.
Norm, wait a
Okay?
second. No, sorry, Norm. I just wanted to counterpoint that. So again, going back to Celsius, the company. So you're using the app, right? So you're using Celsius, the company, as a service, right? So Celsius, the company, again, was funded through Cell Token. The white paper included Cell Token. The whole company has been built around Cell Token. You
No,
cannot
I
remove.
disagree.
Yeah,
I disagree.
but that's. But
I
Norm,
disagree.
Norm,
No,
no. Wait, how can you disagree though? It was in
Well,
the white paper.
because
I know.
I
All right,
disagree.
Plan C. Let him express his opinion. You know, I understand where you're coming from, and I just want to let Norm say his piece.
Cell
But there would
token,
be no
people
Celsius without
thought-
Cell. You understand that? There would be
a
no
lot of
app to
people
use.
thought-
There would be no app to
Plan
use,
C.
Norm.
Plan C. Yes, we've
People
established that.
People are calling you Plan C because they believed in you. People are calling you Plan C and telling you they were wiped out.
I called myself
because
Plan
they
C.
believed in you. And you were telling them stuff that you believed. I don't doubt that. But I believe you were wrong.
About what, Norm? About what?
About the whole concept of trying to push Cell as being what you just said. It isn't. The purpose of Celsius is to earn money on your crypto and to give loans. Nothing to do with trying to make a Cell token valuable.
Well, there would be no company or app without the token, Norm. So
You don't even need the token.
Well, then the company should convert it to equity then. Like, you can't leave all the token holders hanging.
I'm not saying no.
So you're just going to leave people out to dry that funded the project, that built the community, that supported, that did everything they could do, right? You're just going to let them go and say, they don't matter.
When a mistake was made, then there are consequences.
For what mistake was made, though?
Look,
I don't understand.
as I told you, I bought Cell token over OTC for over $5. I lost a lot myself, but I never had a feeling that I needed to have my Cell token get amplified by some kind of utility that I invented. Like
But Norm,
burning.
Alex and the company promoted the fact that Celsius was a proxy for the value of the company. You know how many times Alex talked about Cell and the equity in combination? Like, it was sold that Cell token was a proxy.
Not to me,
for,
it wasn't.
It was to the community. You were not here the whole time.
No,
it was
some of the community
no, it was
believed
100%.
that.
No, it was sold.
Yeah, it wasn't to me either.
It was sold to a lot of people. It was sold. It was sold. It was compared.
I think you made some serious mistakes in promoting the Cell the way you are.
I promoted the community, the project. I promoted the company. So you're blaming me for this, Norm. You're blaming me. I am a very passionate community member. I'm someone who supported Celsius since the beginning. I'm somebody who, like, Celsius the company, right? So I've promoted Celsius the company as well as the token, because any other project in crypto, if there's a company behind it and they have a token, like, you can't say they don't have a connection.
There is some connection, but it's not what
Alex
you're
is
trying to
promoted
make
Cell. Oh, okay, well,
it's not what you're trying to make it.
Well,
Cell
I mean,
is a utility
Can we
token,
push
in my
this to
opinion.
when Alex comes in and then because
I
he's
side with Plan C on this one, by the way, just for the record.
Otis, can I have your opinion on this, because this is craziness. This is craziness.
I side with Plan C on this one.
You're blaming passionate community members for causing problems. Like, this is 100% of the team and the company. They sold people that the Cell token was a proxy for the value of the company.
I think, no, don't get me wrong. I know you guys are passionate that are wanting that. I know you're so passionate that I believe you convinced Alex into taking that step of giving Cell percent.
I don't think anybody needed to convince Alex.
It was in the white paper. Who created the flywheel? Norm, who promoted the flywheel? Norm.
How many times did Alex say he would not add a coin if it couldn't earn itself? How many times did he say that?
How many times did Alex promote the flywheel? How many times did Alex promote the flywheel?
We're just going round and round and round. Let's move on.
I was just about to say this.
Yeah, for the record, I side with Plan C on this 100%. Let's move on.
Okay, this is going in circles.
Hey, I love all you
It doesn't
guys.
seem like this has an end. Yep. So there's a lot of people in the request here building up, so let's just move on to questions. Cellcat, what's going on?
Hi. Yeah, no, I hear everybody and all that stuff. What I wanted to point out was just, if you check your app today, there was some positive updates, which I think is a good thing. And one of the things that I noticed was we had some, incredible people represent us and fix the flywheel issue, which I think is fundamental. Like Scott, thank you so much for what you do for this community and for all of you guys up there, because the thing that I really loved about Celsius and what I really believe in is this it's this core fundamental thing with the flywheel. It's HODL and then value redistribution amongst people, right? And that's a really great thing, and that can build on its own. I do think that there was like a completely impossible event, right? And it affected everyone. And I think that it was really important to witness that we had these champions go stick their necks out on the line, and today they got that issue fixed. Okay. And I just want that to be known. And also we have an amazing team of people that are still working on the cell token. There is things that are being worked on, of course. There's mention of the credit card. There are still things to build. I think this was absolutely a moment where we take this and we say, hey, we've got to learn, we've got to evolve, we've got to get better. But that's what Celsius is. And I think that there's a lot of valid points being made, but I also think there's a community to think about right now, and there's a lot of strength that we can build right now.
Yeah, thanks for that, Cellcat. Thanks for the unification. Brian, do you have service now?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, much better.
Amazing.
Right,
I had to
floor is
reinstall
yours.
Twitter. Yeah. What did you want me to speak to? Sorry, I was in and out for a little
the
bit.
credit card. You posted the picture of the Celsius Go Burr.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was photos that I was not allowed to take inside of their secure printing facility, and I did get shouted at right after one of those pictures. But yeah, that's essentially sheets and sheets of cards coming off, and so yeah, the card is in full production at this point. So it's a very exciting moment. It was sort of incredible watching like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these cards just like flying out of these printers. It's kind of alarming how quickly credit cards can be produced, honestly.
Thank you for taking the L on that and snapping a photo.
I did get chewed out. In the facility, you have to they make you put on like an overcoat to cover your pockets so that you can't walk out with any of these cards. And one of the things that was amazing, a fact that they told us was a blank card that is chipped and mag striped and everything is worth about $8,000 on the black market. So if you were to, it's basically like they're printing $8,000 bills at this factory. Pretty wild.
I didn't even consider that. I was thinking the whole time you're talking about this, like, oh, it's our product that we're printing out.
Yeah, it's very funny. I think I said last time, like the Visa logo itself is actually a secure element. So if you go online and you download the Visa logo, or you try and copy and paste or whatever, that isn't actually the real Visa logo. It's like slightly off. The only true Visa logo that exists is the ones that are on the actual cards. And the dove that's on Visa cards is actually a serialized element. So every single hologram dove that's on every single credit card has a serial number in it. So it's like 8 layers of foil to create that effect, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot more security and constraint than even I had realized until I got this updated tour.
Nice, man. Well, can't wait to get my hands on one of them. If you guys have any questions pertaining to the credit card, we got Brian on stage with us. In the meantime, share the room out, let everyone know we're live. We are hopefully getting Alex here at the top of the hour. He is in permissionless. I know he's a little bit busy, but I think he's going to make some time to pop in.
Josh, you mentioned as well that summit. I think there's 44 country fintech leaders from various countries that are meeting to discuss adoption. That is something I'm trying to follow closely. I don't know if anyone has any updates on that. It's extremely interesting.
The best way to keep your finger on the pulse of that is to follow Simon Dixon. He's got another update coming out tomorrow. I think he said not on his channel, but on his company's channel, Bank to the Future.
Maybe some big announcement will break us out of this downtrend.
We can only hope. 44 countries all at once make it legal tender. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and if anyone else here hodls Cardano as well, I think we can all commiserate. Yeah, I know everyone's getting burned on left, right, and center, but yeah, I've taken a beating as a Cardano holder as well.
You got to earn your stripes in this ecosystem, man.
That's right.
Craig, did you have any questions while you're up here on stage?
I got a question for Brian on those credit cards. Do they stick the chips in after the fact?
They do, yeah. So it's actually very interesting. So they print what I have in my photo there, and then they do what's called a hot stamp. So they actually heat up elements and press them into the card, the foiled elements. But when they add the chip to a card, they actually router it out in a two-part process. So there is literally a little router on a robot arm. So the card stops in place, and then it literally, same way you would router the edge of your deck. If you're building a deck, this router comes down and literally mills a hole in the middle of the card, and then they hot stamp the chip right into it. So yeah, it's a very cool process.
Interesting. I expect a video of that later.
Yeah, no, they would certainly not let me take a video of that process. I probably would have got thrown out.
Don't ruin the deal for us, man.
When as part of our group that was there was one visitor's pass that went missing briefly for about 10 minutes, and it was like a prison escape. There was like people running around trying to find this missing visitor's pass that somebody had left in like the lunchroom. So it's very high security.
I picture you using like a pen camera that like a spy.
Yeah, that's right.
Craig, last go at you. Did you have any questions while you're up here?
Just that one for Alex I put on your Twitter.
Okay. All right. Alan, what's going on?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about what Brian said. So I work in the PCI compliance industry. So I'm a network security engineer for this Visa rack that we have at work. So yeah, I completely agree. Those cards. I mean, I have access to them at my job, but you got to go through 2 safes. You got to have like 3 people to sign off on it. But yeah, if one of the cards that I have at work, I don't know about the cards that you saw there, but if one of those cards got out in the public and you actually swiped it at a restaurant, then it flags every transaction after that as a test transaction. So, it's like, if you're in the middle of the day and that card gets swiped, then every customer that swipes their card, it just won't go through. It would use it as a test transaction. But yeah, those facilities are pretty high secure. So yeah.
Oh yeah. CPI compliance is really difficult to get either as a fintech startup as well. So it's that's the dream is to be CPI compliant. In order to do that, it's like there's rules about security cameras and access and safes and test devices and email policy. It's just an incredible level of compliance.
Yeah, and it's a whole week of someone being at your facility and them asking questions like, hey, like, okay, so let's go down these checklists. Show me how you're doing this. Show me how you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hardcore.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, Alan. Brian, if we get any more questions, just hop in related to the card. You do know that Ray-Bans now make those sunglasses with cameras built into them now.
Yeah, yeah. They actually are pretty subtle looking. It's not like the spectacles from Snap. They actually do look very cool. Has anyone here ever worn a pair of Google Glass? I had one at one point when I was working on a project, but yeah, the Ray-Bans look a lot nicer.
Google Glass looks insane, man. I can't believe you had one. Armand, welcome up.
Hey, y'all. I guess maybe some of my comments are better saved for when Alex is here, but I guess I'll just start by saying that, I'm really sorry that people got hurt in this downturn. I've been a long time Cell token holder. I also was a Luna holder, so, rip me. But I think the key always is just invest what you are willing to lose. That is always the key rule, right? And, people who don't do that, sometimes there are very hard lessons that are learned, especially when you use leverage. That if you've been burned by that once, you might try it again. But if you've been burned twice or three times, you'll learn your lesson. Definitely don't really have any strong opinions on how Celsius, the company, handled all of this. Other than I guess I'm glad that they didn't intervene at any point. I think that makes me confident that this is like not a manipulated token. In a certain sense, and it still is the community's token. And I just want to add some positivity in here. I think we're at a very low spot right now. We've hit sort of, you could call it rock bottom, I guess. And this is where we recoup. We learn from our mistakes, not just the community, but Celsius as well. We make the changes that are necessary to make us all successful, whether that's the app or people who are putting their coins up to earn yield, or that's the Cell token itself. I think we all can learn a lot from this downturn and how not to repeat it. And, I think the future could be very bright for Cell token if some changes are made. I trust that those changes are being worked on. I've seen some things around. I think maybe bringing a percentage of the total AUM yield into the token equation could be a very positive thing for the token. We've seen that work very well for Binance with BNB. And, the credit card could be tied to Cell token utility as well. And there are a lot of upcoming products that could be tied. I saw that today swaps are just tied to Cell token utility. So I like sort of the prospect we have here of a reset. I mean, I haven't sold anything. If anything, I'm accumulating. We can reset, start from the bottom, and sort of work our way back up in a sustainable way. I think that's a great thing. And I think we have the chance to rebuild something that's much more solid than we already have. So thanks to everyone who's working on this.
It's killing me, by the way, that we can't release any of the details on the credit card and upcoming Cell utility and things like that. But just let me know. Letting you know it's bothering me that we can't talk about it. But I think you guys are going to be very happy in about 2 weeks' time.
Oh, Brian, you just said the forbidden phrase. Okay, don't ever do that again.
2 weeks time. Yeah.
I know it's 2 weeks because every project I got bumped in order to hit this deadline. So,
what you got planned? What's going on?
Yeah, just a really quick point. Just to what Norm was saying earlier, I'd just like to add also that, Celsius, the company, actually incentivizes their employees with Cell token. So I don't know how you can say the Cell token is not connected to Celsius, the app, the project. It was in the white paper. It funded it. The team is being incentivized with it. There's locks at different levels. So whether you like it or not, Cell is the foundation, or should be a huge part of this overall project. So, the company has to also, do its own thing, grow and everything. But yeah, again, like the Cell token is incentivizing employees. So to say it's not connected to the project, there just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Let me add to Plan
that.
C. Also, Celsius owns half of the Cell tokens. Everything is going smooth right now, but there could be a day where something happens on a DeFi application protocol or whatever. It may not be 50 million. Maybe it'll be 600 million. Who knows? So if that happens, how do you compensate the community if you don't have cell token? If the balance sheet is not strong and Celsius, the cell token is not at $10 or $15, how do you compensate the community then for that loss if your balance sheet is not strong?
It seems like the balance sheet's pretty strong, especially after the raise last year. I think it was 750 million, something pretty. So there's definitely a lot of cash there, and I think cell token obviously is an additional layer of reinforcement that the market is down right
I'm
now.
talking about I'm talking about the future and not now.
Oh,
Let's just
sure.
say in 3 years from now, sell it at 15,000. Something happens. Yeah, that that 300 million cell that the company owns, that can be used to compensate their users for what happened, and then all users don't have to take a haircut. That's another reason for the cell token and why it needs to get above $10.
Hey, Otis, to that exact point, this is just another fact I'll say. On many AMAs, Alex has actually included the cell token value of the treasury when he says the balance sheet of the company. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say the cell token is not connected to the company, but then have the CEO including it in what he says is the protection of the users.
I think there's a misunderstanding in the language here. Obviously, it's inaccurate to say the cell token is not part of the company because the company owns cell token. We buy it back for rewards. It's involved in many aspects of the company. So, of course, it's involved. I think Norm was talking about some of the yield services, or not every function on the app requires cell token, but absolutely cell token is a major part of the company, a part of its balance sheet, a part of the rewards that we pay every week. I mean, cell tokens almost always second or third in the amount of rewards that we pay back, and anyone can see that on Rewards Explorer. So I don't think there's any debate there, right? That of course it's involved with the company heavily, but I think Norm was making the point that you don't have to have cell token, or it doesn't. Some people were making the correlation of, oh, well, cell token went down a lot, so that means the company's in bad state, which is not true at all. So I think it's more of a language miscommunication here than what you guys are disagreeing about.
Yeah, and I think one really positive thing is that if the tokenomics can be improved and the token can regain a sort of sustainable uptrend and get into the top, 60, 50, 30, 20, I think I skipped 40. If it can climb the charts, I mean, there really is no better free advertising for Celsius, the company, than that. And I think that is when we'll be in maximum sort of symbiosis between the community and Celsius, the company, and AUM will, be boosted even more. It'll lower consumer acquisition costs. I mean, there's a lot of positive that can happen with a better cell token here.
Yeah, what's going on, Sokat?
Yeah, and just to rephrase, right? We the loans against the cell, that was the one Achilles heel, and I think that it's without that ability for the flywheel to ever spin backwards in such a sense, that is a beautiful way to start off. That's a great way to cement the flywheel, and I'm happy to see that.
Completely agree.
Any other questions up here on stage? Comments?
Just thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, Armin.
Yeah, ask questions, but only Mashinsky can answer them.
Yep, and hopefully he'll be here at top of the hour. Like I said, he's at permissionless, so his schedule is running tight. He should be able to stop by for a little bit, though. I'll let you know if I hear different. In the meantime, I'll let some other people up. Tarmac, what's going on? Tarmac, you there?
Yes. Sorry. Whenever I get
I know that voice.
Yeah. Hello, it's
Did you
Jay
change your
Gels. Yeah. Change my profile. Yeah, thanks for having me up. Obviously a hectic episode. I have a couple baseline questions I'd like to get through before asking a couple more, I suppose, deeper questions. Well, I guess, yeah, sorry, I feel a little bit flustered right now. I guess I'd first like to say, I've been going at your guys' throats a little bit the past like 5 days, and I'd first off like to apologize. I love this company. I love you guys. It has not felt particularly good to be doing. But yeah, I'll just jump into a couple of the questions. First of all, and these two I think are really priority for a lot of the community right now. With the liquidated sell tokens, can you guys confirm, are those still in the treasury? Did you dump those on the open market as is normal procedures for a liquidation cascade and for when something's liquidated so you guys can obviously recover the cash? Can you comment on what's happened with the liquidated sell tokens?
That I'll have to have Alex answer that one.
I can tell you what I've seen from the evidence.
Maybe that's okay in a second.
I don't work for the company,
Yeah.
but I don't work for the company, but I can tell you what I know from the evidence.
You're welcome. Yeah, go ahead.
The answer is they've taken the liquidated sell tokens from what I can see and put them in the treasury, because when the liquidations were going on, I checked the volume of sell, and it wasn't significant. If the liquidated sell tokens were being sold on the open market, you would have a much worse drawdown, and you would have probably a $50 million volume day.
No doubt.
It was nowhere close to that.
I checked the numbers while the liquidations were going on, and I think between, obviously the token hit, I think 49 cents, 50 cents. Between there and $0, I think there were layered in about $4 million of buy orders. If you were to have sold all of the sell token that was being liquidated, that amount of sell pressure would have pushed the token, I think, I can't state this factually, well under 10 cents, maybe to literal zero based on the buy orders that were set.
That's probably the math. Yeah.
So I mean, I can only state my perspective, and I think this question is a really important one.
It's a really important question, but from what I've seen, they've held on to them and have them in the treasury. There's just not enough liquidity to sell them on
I agree.
On the open market also.
I agree. And I mean, again, as I said, I think this is one of the most important and critical questions right now, because if those tokens, well, I mean, regardless of what happened with the tokens, normally what happens in a liquidation cascade when you liquidate people is you have to sell the tokens on the open market to recover the value from whatever was loaned. And if Celsius was not able to do that, or didn't do that, or whatever, or did do it, I think that there's a specific way of the way that Celsius functions where obviously you guys give out Bitcoin collateralized loans, but you guys don't hold enough of the Bitcoin on the open market to be able to crash the entire asset if there's a cascade. You just don't hold a large enough percentage of Bitcoin. The same is true for Ethereum or pretty much anything else you guys hold. With Cell Token, you guys hold like 80 to 90% of the entire circulating supply. And based on however much money is taken out in loans, you guys could very easily present a systemic risk to the token and potentially to the company itself if a legitimate liquidation cascade starts where the token crashes, 95, 98, 99, 100% of its value within, an hour. So I think that's a really important question for us to have answered tonight, but we can put it off for the moment. Unless anyone else had anything to add to what I just said.
Yeah, the issue there is we don't work in the loan department, so we don't have that information for you. Alex will be able to answer that better than us. Go ahead, Plan C.
Well, really quickly. So yeah, it's actually like everything you said is I agree with. Also, I would just add that it's actually not in the company's best interest to sell those on the open market as well, because they would not get the value. Just again, because of the liquidity, the price would be dropping so fast that they actually wouldn't be able to recoup the value. So it makes more sense for the company to also put those in the treasury, wait till the market calms down, and then get the actual value for those tokens.
Agree wholeheartedly, but at the same time, if you're not even able to recoup the value from the loans by selling it on the open market, I don't think that would be a systemic risk to the company itself, but that is a risk.
Yeah, you
but
shouldn't. It goes back again to the original point. Like if this is your protocol, right, where you literally don't liquidate people in the open market, should you have had loans? Should you allow the community to take loans against an asset that you can't even liquidate them on the open market because of lack of liquidity? I mean, this actually happened back in a few months ago. We had the same situation. It wasn't as severe as this one, but there was another liquidation of a lot of people a few months ago with Cell. And again, same thing, they took the tokens, they put them in the treasury. So they've known now for a few months that they literally cannot sell those tokens on the open market, but yet they allow their users to borrow against the asset. That, to me, that's a disconnect.
I'm not going to disagree with anything that you've said. That being said, I do want to get through a couple more points that I had, if that's okay.
Go for it, Jay Gels.
Cool. The next question that I had, and again, I think this one's really critical to everything that a lot of people are dealing with tonight. When the token crash was occurring, obviously the token price crashed down to 50 cents, 49 cents. And then in one 15-minute candle, the token spiked back up to, depending on where you look, between $1.10 and $1.30. A token spike of 120+% in the space of 15 minutes. I think everyone here really needs to know, was that candle, was that buy order, was that Celsius or Alex? Because if it was, that very clearly says that you guys did draw a line in the sand somewhere. You did support the token price from crashing further than that. And it very much seems like that was a lot, like, an arbitrary line in the sand you guys drew, where Celsius decided to step in at some point, protect some users while not protecting others, and make a decision about who lived and who died. And I think that's a question that we need an answer to, because if you guys are taking that much control over our financial fates, that's something that I have concerns about.
Yeah, again, a fair question. And the market was extremely illiquid at that very moment, and I saw that happen as well. It wasn't me that bought those tokens, but again, I think that's a fair question to ask Alex if he knows what happened when that took place.
Okay, that's fair enough. Those were the two really main integral questions that I had. And I'm more than happy to wait until Alex gets here to try to follow up on those. Thanks for that. Do you guys want to prioritize other people for the moment? Because I do have some other content I'd like to get through, but I'm more than happy to wait.
Yeah, let's hold for a second. I think Shaheen was up next. Or Norm, did you have something you want to add real quick before we move to Shaheen?
Just on the comments that just Jay Gels mentioned, and some of the other comments, it's a little bit concerning to me that it may be concerning to the regulators if Celsius is coming in and doing this or that to manipulate, in effect, the price of the Cell token, not just in the mention what Jay Gels just mentioned, but also in the mentioning prior of the $5 thing, which was, I don't know if that's a fact, but it's sort of probably might be, and to me it makes sense because I remember the community got a boost if it went above $5 or maybe for some period of time, and maybe that helped it. And I don't know, but it just concerns me that if Celsius is doing things to the token to change the price of the token at some times and not others, it's a little bit concerning, I would think, to the regulators.
Zach, did you have a comment? I'm not aware of anything relating to that, so.
No, I'd say just move on. I think Norm was expressing his thoughts.
Shaheen, what's going on?
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing well, man. What's going on? How can we help you?
I just have a question. I'm interested in buying more Cell, but I'm tired from the conversions with MetaMask. I'm in the US, so I have to do like MetaMask, conversions, fees, Uniswap, and so forth. Um, Regarding the desk at Celsius, is there a minimum, and do I have to be accredited to purchase?
Yeah, for OTC, you do have to be accredited, and there's a $5,000 minimum on the buy and sell side.
Okay, so the only problem would be being accredited to purchase. Are there any other tips? Any places I could purchase those Cell tokens with the least fees possible?
Not really. It's available on DeFi, and then just be cautious of everywhere else.
Okay, Otis, did you have something to say?
I was just gonna say, Shane, DM me whenever you get a chance, or later on tonight. You can send
Awesome.
me a DM.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Shaheen.
Of course.
Harry, what's going on?
Hey, question for you. Well, actually, this is for Zach. Can you just check your DMs? And I believe it's regarding the same thing, regarding that canceled rewards. So one of my investors, I said it was me last week, but it's actually one of my investors who invests in some of my shows and whatnot. Has an issue with a Bitcoin reward. So that's just about it.
Okay, yeah. I've got a lot of DMs still piled up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take a look.
Please. I don't want to lose him. He's, I think, on 6 or 7 of my upcoming shows. And he keeps on messaging me. So just, if you could, he emailed you, from what I understood it to be, was he emailed you, and I just sent you a message regarding it on Twitter as well. Please and thank you.
Okay, copy.
Anything else we can help you with, Harry?
Oh no, mate. It's good. A lot of last week was definitely blood on the streets. I think, Josh, you were in one of those rooms. I popped in for a quick second. Yeah. But you know what, guys? It's the market overall. It's not only the crypto market. It's everything across the board that's happened, So I myself, we're all down, like including me. So it's...
Yeah, it's an interesting time period. There's nowhere to hide.
Well, not even in the regular markets. Whether you're in the stock market, bond market, everything took that downward hit, like across the board, and it's not just this week or last week. It's still continuing, and I believe, hopefully, maybe come midsummer, when things start turning around, and hopefully in the fall, we could see some positivity. But this is the bear market. This is and it's true. I don't know who said it earlier. I got burnt on leverage in the regular stock market before, so I learned my lesson then, and I haven't done it since. So I don't use leverage, but I do understand the people that did use leverage, and that's the risk you take. And I think Zach said it best, or someone else said it best. I forget who said it. Is only invest money that you are not needing, or you could afford to lose, because any investment is a risk. But apart from that, I'm good, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm still Celsius, keeping my money at Celsius. Literally moved it all from Coinbase as well. Me and my friend my investor friend just moved all of our stuff off of Coinbase, because we're worried about what's going on with there, and it's a lot safer with Celsius than it is anywhere else, in my opinion. But that's my humble opinion. Again, no financial advice, but that's what I've chosen to do. That's what my investor friend chose to do as well.
Nice. Well, we're always glad to have you in, Harry. And Zach will be taking care of your friend there as soon as he can.
Please and thank you so much, because I keep on getting messages. That's all.
Yep. Thanks again. Alex, welcome in. I know you're tight on time. What's going on?
Hey guys, I'm here at Permissionless in Boca Raton. I can tell you the conference has a lot of energy. It's packed. 7,000 people showed up today. I think more than that's going to show up tomorrow. And we're here in full force. I think that like 15 people here, and the crypto community, the Celsian community is loving it, and we're giving out all the shirts and all the swags. We have a meetup tomorrow night. So obviously, if you're in town, come hang out with us. And we're all huddling together. You know, like I heard the previous speakers mention, we're all down. You know, I'm down a few $100 million, and it's fine. You know, we're just gonna get through this. We went through 5 winters, and everybody who went through the winter hodling did better afterwards. So it's just, you know, it's hard. It's not easy, but you gotta get through it, right? I mentioned, I don't know if you guys saw the post that I did on both my channel and on Ed Mashinsky on Twitter, or also on our Celsius network, kind of different interviews that I've given talking about how I see this unwind. And again, the crypto market is watching the stock market is watching the Fed is watching inflation, right? So all these things are interconnected, and they all are moving in tandem. And it's like, you know, the tail, crypto is the tail, so it's wagging the most, meaning it's down the most, but all of that is already in. Like last time we had a drawdown in March 2020, we were down 63%. And this time we're down, I think, 65%. So I think most of the pain is already in, right, from the highs. Obviously, the Nasdaq is at the lows was down 25 or 26%, and the crypto usually does 2 or 2.5x. So all of that is already priced in. That's the good news, right? But you got to watch the inflation numbers. That's what everything is in right now. Everything is priced in. The recession, the rate hikes, the quantitative tightening, right? The QT that the Fed is going to do. They're going to basically sell into the market 80 or 90 billion a month starting next month. All of that is already priced in. And now the question is, can we tame the inflation? And taming inflation, you have to think of inflation as a dragon, a 3-headed dragon, right? Like it escaped the Pandora box. We opened it a little bit, it managed to escape. And now the Fed is fighting inflation. It's going to have to chop all those 3 heads. And every month that we get lower inflation numbers, that's 1 head being chopped off. You have 3 months worth of lower inflation numbers, so 7 point something. Hopefully next month, right, in 4 weeks. Another month after that, maybe again 7.2, 7.3, then 6 point something. And if that happens, you will see the Fed back off, meaning they'll say, we don't need to do as many tightenings or raising interest rates. We don't have to buy back as much, and you know, we don't have to buy as much, sell as much bonds into the market. And all of that is going to mean a huge run up in the prices of stocks, which will also coincide with a crypto jump. And you can see again, back, if you look at the playbook from 2020, crypto started going up before the stock market, before the QQQ, before the S&P 500, right? And then it was up 500 or 600%, where the stock market didn't even double, went up 40 or 50%. So we expect the same playbook here. And if you hodl, you're going to go through the same playbook. If you sell right now, you're going to look back and say, oh my God, you know, I wish I at least kept some of the coins. So again, not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. And each one of us has to make their own decision, right? If you risked all your money and you're down 50%, you may want to sell some right now because you have too much at risk, right? If you're on leverage, you should reduce leverage, right? So each person has to look at their portfolio, their options and make a decision. I've said at least 20 times on my AMA that we definitely do not recommend people taking leverage on Bitcoin. We definitely do not recommend people taking loans from Celsius to buy more coins because it's already a very volatile asset. The last thing you should do is leverage on top of it, right? And most people listen to us, some people don't. But again, each person has to decide what they're doing and do what's best for them. Again, I can tell you, I don't feel the fear and the FUD in the conference here. I feel this is a DeFi conference, so it's a little bit different than these are like the degens and people who are 100% in, right? They probably don't own any fiat currencies at all. But I'm just saying that I think that I think it's going to be. We just don't know. Again, this 3 months. If we don't get what I just said, if we don't get lower inflation, then all of this is going to stretch longer, and the dragon is just going to be running around town causing damage everywhere, right? So we got to slay the dragon. That's what you have to remember, right? Every month you got to look at the numbers, right? Last Wednesday was the day that they announced the CPI interest rate, right? What was the inflation? And you have to watch that 4 weeks from now. That is really the most critical number. Everything else doesn't matter, right? Nothing else matters really, because that's the only thing the Fed cares about. That's unlike 2020, unlike 2008, where there was no inflation and we knew the Fed is going to do something to help us eventually, right? At some point, they'll jump in and save everybody. Here, because they're worried so much about inflation, they have to first see the dragon slayed, and only then they can come and help us. They're not going to help us before they see these inflation numbers drop below 6%.
Thank you for that update, Alex. Appreciate it. Are you ready for a few questions?
Sure. And by the way, the fear index just hit 8. It hasn't been at 8 since I don't know when. I mean, I haven't seen it at 8.
It might be ever. Right? I used to monitor the Bitcoin Fear Index.
Yeah.
I never saw it at 8.
And usually, again, you want to buy it when it's super red, and you want to sell it when it's super green, right? So if you're considering if this is a good time or a bad time, the fear index tells you it's extreme fear. Meaning, again, most people who are afraid already either sold or reduce the leverage or unwind the positions or whatever, right? So if you're selling right now, you're selling into strong hands. You're selling into people that obviously believe in it long term, and it's fine. Again, each one of us has to make their own decision as to timing and exposure and everything else.
Got it. Thank you for that. Yeah, like I said, I've never seen the Fear and Greed Index that low. All right, Rami, what's going on?
Hey guys, not much, and this might actually be the perfect question considering Alex is at permissionless. I know you guys are looking at launching staking services, let's call it soonish. Are you considering, with the launch of Ethereum 2.0 or proof of stake, to maybe go even deeper and offer staking services, maybe a layer over something like a rocket pool? You know what I'm saying? Where you are giving directly to a validator or something along those lines. So a couple of services have started to bubble up that are doing that thing. And maybe this isn't exactly retail, but it can be depending on how you look at it, right? But has Celsius thought about that sort of stuff and maybe how to go a little bit deeper than, just having a proof of stake offering for Ethereum, considering how big this could possibly be? So that's my general question. Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't have obviously each chain has its own staking mechanisms and they're not exactly the same or, so what we're trying to do is provide as much transparency and give you guys as much control as possible over the staking. We are going to have to charge at least some FE,
right.
but we definitely going to charge less than Coinbase or any of the other guys that are offering staking, right? So the idea is that if you stake with Celsius, you get most of the benefits. You get the same service if you stake directly yourself, but you don't need to have the knowledge, and you don't have to run a super node or whatever. For each protocol, it's a little different, right? So, and the beauty is also that you have the liquidity, meaning you can withdraw at any time because we always have excess coins. And unlike many protocols, for example, like on Matic, you're locked for 28 days.
Right.
With Celsius, you can withdraw at any time. So you get that. You don't get a penalty. You don't get the days that you're not staking. You basically start earning and stop earning immediately when you want. So there's all these benefits of pooling with others. And again, we'll try to describe all of that and do it in the most transparent way, as we always do. And again, this is any token or coin that has a staking mechanism, we will try to add it to the non-accredited US pool.
Can I ask a very specific question? And this may be a little bit too deep, but it's very relevant for what's going to happen with Ethereum proof of stake. The validators, if you are a validator, you can possibly get some fees, right? Which you would only get if you're the validator. So even something like Rocket Pool technically cannot force a validator to give the fee to people, to give the money that would go to the validator to the folks that are staking. But if you run the validator self, you get it. Is there any chance someplace like a Celsius might say, we will actually pass this on to the people staking with us? I don't believe anyone else is planning to do that right now. I know that's very in the weeds and probably not easy to answer, but maybe not.
Well, just like we did with Bitcoin, where we provided basically Rewards Explorer, which is a very unique way of proving not just our deployment, but also what we earned and how much of that you're getting. Here, we're going to try to run a similar process where you basically will be able to see, okay, how much is staked. You'll be able to use Chainlink proof of reserves, right, to see that all that is there and be notified if we're removing stuff or we're moving stuff around, and see all the income that comes to those nodes, right? So we're, that's exactly what we want to bring, is full transparency to a business in which many companies publish a rate, but they don't tell you that they charge you 25% of the staking fees, right? You think you're earning whatever 4.95%, but really it's much less than that, because the rate they publish is not really the net rate; it's the gross rate. So we want to eliminate all of that and show people what we're earning, what we're charging, what's the fee, and then they can decide if they're going to do it themselves or they're going to outsource it effectively to Celsius to run the nodes for them.
Great, thank you.
Also, just one point is that we run, like right now, we run E2 with at least 3 or 4 validators. Because if you're doing it only on one pool, you also risk hacks and other things. So you want to diversify the pools and try to get insurance and other things. So there's a lot of complexity there, and most people are just not going to want to deal with all of them.
Rami, did that help answer your question?
It sure did. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming in. Lucia, what's going on?
Hey there, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to listen in on everybody's opinions and thoughts and feelings. Alex, been appreciating your observations this week in particular. And I have been buying the Bitcoin dip, which has been good. I also am a sell holder. I have quite a lot of sell. And I have to admit that I haven't been interested in purchasing any more sell at this point, since it's gone down so deep. And I was mulling it over, and in the middle of the night I had this idea, and maybe you've thought about maybe it doesn't work legally or whatever, but to have the sell token actually be a representation of stock in the company. Now, as you know, I'm super bullish on Celsius as a company, but I haven't really seen a real good use case for sell, even though I have quite a lot of it. And I wondered if it could represent stock ownership in the company. I would be very interested in having a piece of Celsius, so to speak. So I just was wondering about that. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that possibility.
So yesterday, today I'm at this conference here. Yesterday was a conference in New York. There was a security tokens conference, right? It was all about how do you take tokens that you kind of admit that they're security, and then you use them for things that everybody agrees that are security. So my point is that each company can decide if they want to lean towards the security side or lean towards the decentralization side, right? And you can do both. You can be both decentralized and a security at the same time. So we want to lean towards decentralization, and we're mulling a bunch of different plans of how to go there. And I think you're starting to see a lot of it on Celsius X, right? So CelsiusX.io for those who don't know anything about it. And we're going to try to basically add more and more utility that makes Cell more and more decentralized. On the equity side, again, if you're an accredited investor, you can participate. We allowed many people to participate in our A round. And obviously that was done at a very much lower valuation than our B round, and we're allowing people to participate in our B round. So those are two completely different things, and each one of them has its own benefit and its own utility. And if you don't know about the utility of the Cell token, we have on our website. We're about to update it also, but to add all the recent utilities that we added. But there's a lot of utility to the Cell token. So I think we want to enhance that. We want to further decentralize it, I don't think that leaning towards Cell as a security is going to help Celsius or its community.
Okay, well, I appreciate your thoughts, and I do like the idea of it becoming more decentralized. I have a strong decentralization bent in me, so that fits. And, just trying to look for some ways of promoting the token and restoring the faith in Celsius itself, in the whole community in general, since, we've taken quite a hit in on crypto Twitter and all that, and it's hard to see all that, knowing everybody works so hard and has you and everybody who works at Celsius has everybody's best interest at heart, and it's hard to see that being back to happen.
Well, look again. We when you look at Twitter, you see people who are trying to stab Celsius in the back from the crypto community. These are all Bitcoin maxis, people who don't believe that anything should exist out there besides you managing your own keys. Now, the good news is that we have 12 years of experience with people managing their keys, and we know that at least 20% of all the Bitcoin out there got lost because people were managing their own keys. So if so many people are losing their keys, how can that be a great way to do it? I don't know of anyone who is using Celsius who lost their keys or cannot withdraw their coins or lost their password and can never recover those coins. The opposite. We recovered over $50 million worth of coins that people lost on the blockchain because they entered the wrong address or they did something stupid or whatever. And we went, these are not coins that were in Celsius. These were coins that people sent somewhere, either to us or to some other address, and they got lost in the ether. And we helped these people recover it even though we didn't need to. So no one is going to do that for you. No one is going to help you recover your lost ETH or lost Bitcoin or lost Matic or lost whatever. Right? So most people who lost these things will never see those coins again. So those fudders, again, those people who are anti-Celsius or anti-CeFi, you have to ask them that question. Just ask them. Just say, okay, great. You don't like Celsius? Great. how are you going to solve this problem? The 20% of all the Bitcoins have been lost, and all these people lost their financial freedom because you told them that they should hold their own keys, you know, and hackers and fires and whatever caused them to lose all their assets. So we represent the solution for at least 90% of the population that doesn't know how to manage keys. We're not trying to convince Bitcoin maxis to come to Celsius, right, or Ethereum maxis or any maxis, right? We're happy for them to stay in their own lane, and we're gonna go and bring the next 100 million people and solve their problems.
Sounds good. Carry on. You can bring me back to the audience, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the thoughts.
Thanks for coming up, Lucia. Plan C, what's going on?
Yeah, hey guys, or hey Alex. So yeah, I just wanted to share about like two different kind of stories when it comes to this journey with centralized companies having their own token. Kind of two extremes of the spectrum, right? So you have a company like Binance and you have a company like Block One. So Block One did the largest, as you're aware, obviously the largest ICO in history, raised $5 billion, and then they decided to create the software. They pitched their community on the fact that they would be a very integral part, like they would play a huge role, Block One, in building out the ecosystem. At the end of the day, they never built out the ecosystem. That token basically, the ICO was at $5 and it's sitting at about $1 now. Even before the crash, it was probably around $3 or $4. But the token's been sideways for multiple years. And Block One itself actually sold all of this EOS tokens, sold all the ETH that they raised and bought Bitcoin. And now you have Block One actually wanting to start an exchange called Bullish, where they're using the liquidity, from that funding round or the ICO to fund their ventures. And Block One has basically left, that decentralized project they're calling it now. And then you have, BNB, which BNB has made Binance token integral part of every aspect of Binance. You have 80% of the employees earning in some amount of BNB. You have, a whole bunch of products and services, integration, into the app, all that stuff, right? So, I'm wondering, just about the decentralized versus centralized approach, because you're saying you want to go decentralized. Now, decentralized, at a certain point, that also gives the company kind of a say, well, this is no longer our responsibility. Now, Cell Token funded Celsius, obviously, completely funded the project in the early days, and was in the white paper, and the flywheel, all these things, right? So I'm just kind of like, as a loyal community member, as someone who's been here since close to the beginning, hasn't sold any tokens, fully supports you guys. The community is shattered. I'm going to be honest with you. I got dozens of DMs of people that lost everything. This whole event, I think, could have been prevented in so many different ways. I won't go into all the ways, but I just feel that the company, like we were having a debate before you got in here, Alex, about is Cell Token, does the company have any level of responsibility for Cell Token? There were people in here saying the company has no responsibility for Cell Token. It's not connected to the company in any way. And that is not what's been sold to the community. This has been sold as something that is part of this Celsius project. So I'm just wondering kind of your thoughts on the two extremes. You got BNB, which is what I was hoping what I'm hoping Cell Token can become, is like the BNB for Celsius, whereas EOS is the other extreme where, now you have a couple people building on their app or on their platform, but essentially Block One has moved on and completely abandoned the project and walked away with billions of dollars. So just wondering your thoughts.
I stand with Plan C and everything he just said.
Oh, Alex, you're on mute.
Yeah, so I was looking at the chart for BNB, and it's pretty much was going sideways for several years, and during those several years, it was down 50, 60, 70%, right? So BNB in many ways is similar to Cell Token, right? It's deflationary, it's tied to the activity on the Binance exchange, and it has a lot of utility that is different. Obviously they managed to build a a very robust launch pad, and they have their own blockchain, and they have a different business model than what Celsius is trying to create, right? I mean, in many ways, I keep telling people that I don't believe that Binance is acting in your best interest when you are on that exchange, trading on that exchange, because in many cases they're on the other side of the trade. So when you think you're buying or selling from a person, 90% of the time, or even more than that, you'll be buying or selling against the exchange itself. So, and most people don't understand that. They don't understand that, there are all these kind of things that these people do that makes them this profitable. So one of the things we decided to do is to make sure that we are always acting in the best interest of the community, and are not in any way. You'll never see Celsius on the other side of your trade. If you on-ramp with us, or swap with us, or hodl with us, or loan with us, we're not on the other side of the trade. You understand? So, and because of that, there's many differences between the margins and the things that we can do, and the things that Binance can do. So we're betting on the long game. We're betting that the community will understand all of this and see the benefits. And if you expected a straight up shoot to the moon forever, then I'm sorry, that's not how things work. And we don't decide the price of sell token. It's not like Celsius publishes a price and everybody follows it or anything like that, right? The market decides the price every day. Buyers and sellers show up, and if more sellers show up than buyers, then prices go down. If more buyers show up, then the prices go up. So again, we're not we're not here to tell you what to do with sell token. We're not controlling activity on the sell token. The only thing we do every week is we look at how many people told us to buy sell token, and then we either get that sell token from the market, or we get it from Treasury, right? Those are the only two places where sell token exists. So, and we publish that every week. We tell you exactly how much we did, and where we did it, and how much did we burn on top of it, and so on, so on. So, that is the formula. We're not changing the formula. And, we are trying to add a lot more utility, and you've seen this year, Josh and other people on Zach and other people on the Cell Team 6 working very hard to add a lot of utility. But it takes time. It's not something that is, that happens overnight, right? Just like it took us a while to get Cell Token notice and get it going in the first place. But one thing I know for sure, I know that we have more Celsians join every day. We have more assets being added. Yes, sometimes we have withdrawals, but overall, Celsius is definitely moving in the right direction, and we are, we're working the hardest. We're definitely working harder today than we did a year ago, 2 years ago, to make sure that this community moves up. And again, I've not had a single person walk over to me in this conference, or the conference I was at yesterday in New York, and tell me, Alex, you're not working hard enough. You're on vacation. You guys show me one picture of me on vacation. So the hardest working guy that works on Cell Token is me. Okay, and I can say that every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There isn't anyone working harder on the Cell Token. Okay, but the markets are the markets. It's not like I have superpowers and I can do things. So if the community gets together and the community hodls, then everything will be fine. If the community buckles and the community decides, you know what, I'm jumping to some other token because they think they're better, then we will rebuild from that point, right? So we have to rebuild from here, and we're going to win some and we're going to lose some. But overall, I don't believe that there's any other project in crypto that has a stronger community, or a community that is dedicated to building stuff for the long term for the community. So And you guys
Can
show
I
me,
please?
give me one example of a project you think that is building more things for its community. BNB is BNB token price or coin price may be performing better, but I'm not. I don't think I can say that what they're building is great. I mean, most of the projects on their launchpad have lost money for their community. Most of them. Like if you look at the return of the projects that launched on the launchpad for Binance, I don't know what the numbers will be, but it would be a very large negative number.
Can I please say something? Just because I've looked into a lot of the stats on this specific topic within the last couple days. For Cell Token specifically, and I mean, the markets are the markets, and generally things are going to go, together. And if something's going to be used as a collateral, I mean, a collateral is supposed to have a specific function, and you're gonna, you'd hope that anything that's being used as a collateral will move with the markets or be slightly more resistant to volatility than the average thing on the market. And obviously, Celsius has thought about that in the past. It's one of the reasons why the flywheel exists. Constant buy pressure, the burn, which is positively influencing the Cell Token price. But if you actually look at the stats on how Cell Token has performed recently, of any token that Celsius lists on its platform, there are only two, UMA and Compound, which have had a worse drawdown than Cell. In terms of pretty much anything on the platform that you look at, or any competitors, FTT, BNB, Nexo, Crow, even Yield App, all of them have had less bad of drawdowns than Cell Token. And if you look at the speed of drawdown, it's pretty wild to look at. If you look at how fast it took for any of the tokens to have a 50% drawdown, the fastest for any relevant token you could look at is about 2 days. For Cell Token, it was for Cell Token, it was 8 hours. After the Elon Musk SNL performance, in which it marked the entire cycle top, Dogecoin, its drawdown afterwards, which was its blow off top. It had a 50% drawdown in 5 days. Cell Token had a 50% drawdown, and then a 50% drawdown again, faster than Dogecoin did at that point.
All these numbers mean nothing. Okay. Luna had a 99.
They mean something to the people who are liquidated. They mean something to me.
Okay, look,
they mean something to Otis. He didn't even have time to respond to his liquidation.
Let's not focus on price.
Listen, guys. Again, I don't control the price action. Okay, this is once in a lifetime event. What happened to Luna? Okay. It's not. This is like again, one of the two of the top 10 coins. Two of them went down to basically zero. Okay, that has never happened. Not in crypto and not in any other industry. You never had two of the top S&P 500 stocks go down to zero. Okay, so the culprit here has nothing to do with Celsius. Okay, it has everything to do with people fudding, publishing bullshit information, claiming that Celsius was one of the hurt companies. Even though we posted and we communicated with these people and we told them we had nothing to do with it, they continued to FUD and post things. So if you want to pick a fight, go pick a fight with those people and ask them, wait a second, Celsius told you, they communicated to you before you posted, before you wrote this article, that they had nothing to do with it, in writing. Why did you still publish this article? Go talk to those people and ask them, who is paying you? Who's behind you? Right? Who are you representing? These are the people you have to dig into. The people who are trying to hurt this company, trying to hurt this token because they are jealous. It has nothing to do with me or you or Cell Token or anything else. Now, did people get hurt? Yes, of course people got hurt. Who got hurt the most? You guys tell me.
The people who were liquidated.
Alex, not you, Alex.
In absolute, really, I lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Cell Token.
Who has more coins?
Okay,
it doesn't matter. I lost more in value than all the people who got liquidated combined.
You
Okay?
literally always ask the question, who gives you more coins? And that's the only thing that matters. Those are your
Okay.
words.
So I'm
So who is
explaining
left
to
with more
you. I'm
coins?
Can we
explaining
have some
to you.
respect in here, guys?
I'm explaining to you who caused this drawdown, and you're arguing with me. You're telling me, no, Alex, you could have prevented this. You could have changed this. I'm explaining to you who caused this.
This
Do you
was a
think? Do you think?
coordinated attack. This
Do
was
you
like
think? Great. Do you think I caused this in any way?
Wait a sec, Alex. So I do agree with you that 100%, this was an opportunity for people that have, that don't like Celsius, that don't like centralized apps. This was an opportunity, because people were fighting online saying, Celsius connect with Luna, all this stuff. So this was a huge opportunity for a coordinated attack. The amount of big accounts online that were against Celsius during this continue to be against Celsius. This was a very much a coordinated opportunity,
So
to
go
go
look
after the
into it.
company.
Dig into. I cannot do this. Okay, I can't do it, but you guys can. You dig into every token I sell, right? Every token I sell. Instead of that, go and look at who was selling, who was dumping sell token in huge amounts during this downturn. Go look and go find out. Go discover who actually has done this, and let's flush this out. And let's just like we're gonna eventually find out who caused the spiral on Luna. We have to find out who did this here, right? This is not a coincidence. This is somebody who decided, you know what? I think I can take down all of Celsius. I'm just gonna try to create a spiral over there, okay? And I'm gonna press against this as much as I can. I could care less. Just like the guy in Luna made 900 million and caused 60 billion in damage. The person here said, you know what? I might lose a little bit of money by selling Cell, but I'm gonna try to destroy this whole company and this whole ecosystem. Okay? So
Alex,
again,
are you saying that
we're gonna
someone
look.
coordinated against Cell token? Is that what you're saying?
There's people right now leveraged down shorting on FTX. So yes, it's true.
Yeah, so go find those wallets, right? Go look at the transfers. They must have gotten a Cell token from somewhere. We didn't lend it to them. I'm not Luna. I did not lend them UST or lend them Cell token, obviously, right? I'm doing the equivalent. So, you want answers. You're coming to me as if I am the bad person here who didn't defend. I didn't go and pick and fought the fight on your behalf. I'm fighting the fight right now.
We support you, Alex. Okay.
So instead of pointing fingers at each other, we need to unite and rebuild. Now, Cell token was the best performing asset in 2020. Okay, let's make it the best performing asset again. Nothing has changed. Celsius didn't change its business model. It didn't change its anything. It's still doing exactly the same thing it did 3 years ago and 4 years ago and 5 years ago. Okay, and you wanna all these people to run away? You just need to continue adding users and continue growing the community. And all these people are shorting right now. They all have to buy back the Cell token, right? They all have to buy it back eventually.
Alex.
So I'm doing what I'm doing, right? I'm just gonna make Celsius perform the best services, provide the best utility, provide services to as many people as possible. And long term, we're gonna, look at the history of Amazon and see how many people shorted Amazon in its first 10 or 15 years of existence, right? They almost drove it out of business, right? Because they were trying to basically go against Jeff Bezos. How many people were shorting Elon Musk? Tesla. Yeah, go look at that. How many short sellers almost drove him out of business? Almost. Right, and he became, the most successful stock out there, the darling of Wall Street, right? So,
Alex,
so it has nothing to do. The price of the Cell token right now has nothing to do with it. Is the company doing good for its community? Is the company growing its community? Is the company, again? I gave you two examples, okay? Tesla and Amazon. I'm not saying Celsius is Tesla or Amazon. I'm just telling you that the same thing that's happening to us right now, it has been done to everybody. Anyone who wanted success and wanted to build something new had to face these challenges. and pointing a finger at me is not going to solve any of these problems.
Hey, Alex, do you think it's a concern though when, there's people basically, saying they're going to pull assets out of the app because of Cell Token, the chart looks so bad, the company looks unstable. I mean, I was getting messages of people saying, should I pull my assets out of Celsius? Of course, I explained to them that, that just because the Cell Token is doing bad doesn't mean the assets aren't safe. But, this is a concern. This is like, I'm just wondering, all I'm saying is, is the Cell Token, a weak point where the company can be attacked by people within crypto space? I mean, you're basically saying we saw a version of this.
They threw everything they could at Celsius. Okay, anyone who wanted to withdraw their assets withdrew their assets. Okay, we have billions of liquidity. We were ready for this. Okay, anyone who wants to withdraw their assets can withdraw their assets, and yet hundreds of millions of dollars are coming back to Celsius every day, right? So it's not. This is the best defense here, is to allow all these people who are concerned to withdraw and then sit on the sidelines. Look, this is our 5th winter. Not my first winter. It's my 5th winter in crypto, running Celsius. And during all winters, we saw exactly the same cycle, right? We saw people withdraw, sit on the sideline for a while, and then come back. This time, they withdrew mostly stable coins. Last time, they withdrew mostly Bitcoin. Before that, there was a crisis with ETH. They withdrew mostly ETH. Okay? This time, they're all worried about, is my stable coin going to depeg, right? That's what they're worried about. We're talking to these people. Believe me, none of them are telling me I'm so super worried about Celsius. They're all saying, gosh, I don't know if USDT is a safe token, right? I'm gonna unwind it. How do we know they're unwinding USDT? Look at the balance. Look at the total market cap of USDT. It was 86 billion. Now it's down to 75. That means $11 billion was unwound from Tether. Drawdowns of $11 billion, right? And a lot of it came from Celsius too. No problem. People are going to wait on the sidelines. They're going to make sure that everybody's calm. And then they're going to come back because there is no better place for them to put their coins. So
this might be my last night as a Celsian, and I will probably never come back if that's the case.
Good. We adding hundreds of people every day. You don't want to be here? No problem. Leave. We have plenty of other people that we do a great job for.
I'm sorry you don't value your community of the past.
I love my community. I'm fighting for my community. I'm here for my community. Okay, and again, anyone who got liquidated without a good reason, we're gonna reverse those transactions. We're looking into them right now. Okay, so
that was my main question. For the people that got wiped out and that got liquidated. Yes, they took the loan, but now we know, in addition to Lunar, they tried to take down Celsius. And I see it online. I mean, there's so much stuff of them trying to get rid of you. And,
but listen, every Cell token they sold, they have to buy back. You understand? And so you just have to decide. What do you think is going to happen here, right? So remember, every week we go back to the market and we buy more Cell token. Every week, without exception.
But to be clear, for the people that got liquidated,
even if
each
none
of
of
those
you
cases
buy
ought
Cell
to be
token,
reviewed.
the largest buyer of Cell token was and remains Celsius. Right? Now, once in a while, maybe there's another big buyer and they might do more than us or whatever. But on average, if you look at on average and say, okay, who buys the most Cell token? Right now, I think we're dividing it between FTX and QuickSwap and maybe some other place, right? But so you can see the volume. But we're in the market, right? That's what we have to do every week. The community tells us, and I have not seen a drop in the number of people who are telling us, buy Cell token for me. I want to earn in Cell token. I haven't seen a drop at all. I see the
When
same
did you
number.
realize that this was a coordinated attack against Celsius as well, the Cell token? When did you realize this?
I don't have answers here. I just have questions right now. And I'm so busy building the company, I don't have time to investigate this. I just know that this is not normal activity, right? It's not normal activity. So again, I'm calling on you guys. Some of you are very good at tracking me. Instead of tracking me, why don't you track Spend a few days tracking the guys who actually put this in place. The guys who are poking, trying to take down, Tether, and trying to take down DAI, and trying to take down, and already took down Luna, and so on, so on. This is not just Celsius, right? This is people systematically going, again, I call them the sharks of TradFi, right? These are people that think that because the overall market is going down and people are worried and nervous, this is a great time to short everything. They're also shorting stocks, and they're shorting, like some of these stocks on Wall Street are down more than 90%. Do they deserve to be down 90%? Probably not. So the price action has nothing to do with does a company deserve it or not. Again, Amazon went from $106 to $8. It was $106 in something like March of 2000, and by mid of 2021, it was at $8, down 90 something percent. Same Amazon we all use every day. You could have bought that stock at $8 all day long, all week long, all year long, right? So you have to think about, has anything changed about the company? Anything? Are we suddenly not working? The community hates us. We're not delivering more and more services. This year, we launched on-ramps and swaps, and we're about to launch a credit card. And we have Celsius X, and we announced stuff about the mining company. We've never had more announcements than since January this year. Never had more announcements in the history of Celsius. Never. Not even close. All the stuff I promised you last year, 2 weeks, we actually launched it. All of it. And many of you using it and saying, shit, look at what I'm getting when I'm swapping. I'm getting 10 times better execution than anywhere else. Man, these Celsius guys are amazing, right? Just compare your trade, do a swap on Celsius, and find me one place on the internet that gives you more coins. I'm challenging you, any one of you, find one place that does a better job than Celsius swapping coins for you. Okay, that's all I care about, because if I keep delivering these services, everything else doesn't matter. Just like Amazon continued to service their customers, no matter what the flooders, no matter what the short sellers, no matter what anybody had to say, they just kept delivering, and then they had few 100 million customers. It was game over. That's all I care about. Okay, so you want to leave? Good, leave. We're not here to, we're not, I'm not building Cell Token. I'm building Celsius. And Cell Token is going to benefit from all the things that Celsius has done. Okay? And all of you are using the services. Yes, some of you own Cell Token, some of you don't. Some of you used to own Cell Token, or used to have more or less. But all of you are users of the service. The main thing we deliver are these amazing services, amazing utilities that the company continues to deliver. Right? And that's all I have to say, And again, I'm here with my wife and the team, and, I promised them I'm only going to be on the phone for half an hour, and I've been on it for much longer than that. If you don't think I'm sincere, if you don't think I'm working harder than all of you on this 7 days a week, then leave. Okay? Go find, again, show me one person in crypto who has a project that is 5 years old, who still holds most of their tokens. Go show me one project. Show me that CZ has most of his BNB, or show me that any of these guys, even the guys that you bring me as an example, show me. Okay, me, Nuke, Daniel, the three founders, we still have most of our tokens. We still think they're undervalued. So that's because we know we're building the future of finance. Right? And again, each one of you has to make their own decision. If you bought too much Cell, and you have too much of it, then you have too much, right? And you shouldn't have done that. And you should sell some Cell Token. Again, if you can't sleep at night, the same thing I'm talking about, I always say about Bitcoin, right? If you can't sleep at night because you bought too much Bitcoin, then sell some Bitcoin down so you can sleep at night. It's not worth it. This is not are you gonna finish this with the richest person in the world? This is about all of us getting together to the finish line. All right. So I know these are hard times. I know these are testing times, and this is exactly where people show their characters. You're either a believer and you're a team player, and you huddle together. No one can stop us if we all work on this together. If we deliver, if we continue to build the community and we support the community. And like I said, we will look into every case. I emailed many of you personally who reached out to me and said, I don't think I was liquidated fairly. Any situation that you feel is unfair or you were not treated right, we will look, and if it's right, we will reverse the transactions. Okay, again, we're not here to screw anybody. We don't make anything. It's all like somebody mentioned. Most of the liquidations go into Celsius Treasury. We don't liquidate those tokens. We don't sell them in the market.
There's the answer, J. Jones. There's the answer.
We don't gain from liquidating you. It costs us money. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, J. Jones had that question, and there's the answer. Now, there's some flooding going on Twitter, and I would like you to spend 2 minutes and at least answer this. One of the biggest things that these guys are saying about you is you took the $500 million. It's laughable, but I'm gonna say it to you anyway. You took $500 million out of the $750 million that was raised and put it into the mining company, and then you're taking the mining company public. You need the money right now, so that's why you're going public. Even though the file, it takes 6 months to take the mining company public. So that's one of the claims against it. The time frame doesn't even match.
And that person doesn't understand how going public works. Okay, so I can't talk about this filing because it's a pending registration with the SEC. Okay, so I can't talk about anything there. But I'll talk about my previous company. Okay, when I took Arbinet public, when you take a company public and you only list, when I took Arbinet public, I think we listed 10% of the shares. That means we still owned 90% of the shares. Me and the other shareholders still own 90% of the shares. You don't sell the company, right? It's not like suddenly you sold the whole company. You're just floating 10%. So when Arbinet went public, me and the other shareholders still maintained ownership of 90% of the shares. That's how it works. Okay? You just bring the public investors to come and become shareholders, and the whole company becomes public. Okay? So a lot of the stuff that's being posted there has nothing to do with anything, and you have to, you have to do your own homework, right? And look into it, and see, okay, who owns what and who retains what, and so on. And when all this stuff becomes public information, it will, right? Sooner or later, it will become public information. You can read everything about it. Right now, as I stated in our press release, we cannot talk about that because the only thing it's going to do is going to delay our filings and delay all the stuff. And that's what these people want. They want to delay everything, right? They don't want.
The last thing I'll say, and I'll give somebody else a chance for you to rebut, what's going on Twitter with everybody else, with all these footers, is they're accusing you of dumping your wallets on the community, and they've blamed you for.
You guys have my wallets. You guys have my wallets, and you can see what my balance is. My wallets are displayed publicly on our website, and you can see the balance. And you can take a snapshot. You can go and check what is the balance that Alex has on his wallets. Okay, so just look at it. Again, the biggest, who took the most pain here in dollar terms, right? So, how in what world would it make sense for me to dump on myself and my community? Where is the benefit? It's the dumbest idea in the world. That just, again, fudding for people who don't understand how these markets work, right? And again, all of us, all we have to do is unfollow all these people and call on our community to unfollow. The only thing that stops these people is when they see the number of their followers dropping, because that's the only thing they're afraid of. They're not afraid of telling lies. They're not afraid of fudding. They're not afraid of ruining somebody's project. They didn't build anything. Show me one thing these people ever built, right? I've built 4 unicorns, right? So show me one, forget about unicorns. Show me one successful project any of these people built, right? So just, that's what you have to look at and say, okay, why are these people saying that? And ask yourself, what is their motive, right? And again, the only thing we can do to stop them is to eliminate their followers, to convince their followers, look, this guy's lying. Here's the information. Here is a link to the website where all the wallets are displayed. Here's a snapshot of the same wallets from 3 months ago and 6 months ago and 2 years ago. Okay? Right? They're all lying. Lying. We are full disclosure. It's right there for everybody to see. And again, this is like, I would be crazy to put wrong numbers there or mislead the community or anything like that, right? I would have a lot of liability if I did that. So you have to understand who is here to help you and who is here not to help you. And I'm calling on all of you to unfollow all these people. Okay? That's the only thing you see me tweet against them, right? Saying, just unfollow them and call on all of your people to unfollow them. Anyway, I got to drop, and I'll see you guys on Friday at the AMA. At the AMA.
Thanks for joining tonight, Alex. We appreciate it.
Yep. And I think that's going to wrap the room for tonight. Thank you guys for coming in. As I say, every week we work really hard to keep this room going. To keep an open dialogue between you guys and the company, make sure you're following myself, Zach, and Scott, and other major community members like Plan C, Otis, etc. The rooms also run throughout the week. South Texan and Celsius Bro run them. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. I hope you got something out of this. Zach or Scott, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say hodl on. It was a good AMA. Appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you for participating, and hodl on.
Hey guys, is there a way to leave the room open? Like me and Otis can run the room or something? Like, is there a way? Because I think there's a lot more people have a lot more questions, and I think me and Otis can help the community in a lot of ways. I don't know if that's possible or we have to open it ourselves.
Yeah, I think you guys have to open a new room.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
I've spoken to Twitter about this. Like, I went into the Twitter room.
There should be a way to hand it off like a baton,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You can do that in Zoom and stuff. Like, yeah.
But yeah, no, unfortunately, you have to open another one.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, guys, for hosting.
Yep.
Tough night, but we appreciate you being here.
Yep, we'll be here again too. So have a good night, guys.
But hey, decentralizing sell.